Hello everybody, I'm Evan Kamikow, and this is The Toss-Up. Each week, join myself and an expert line panel dissect the latest sports news from some of the nation's most elite college programs here in Bloomington to the biggest stadiums and stages around the world. Stick around because we have a great show for you coming up on The Toss-Up. They are two powerhouse programs here in Bloomington. One is coming off a national championship appearance last season, and the other has had their best start to a season since 2013. Thus, today on The Toss-Up, we are talking about all things Indiana University soccer. But before I go further, I would like to point out that today we have our first three-person panel since March 2020, and we are super excited to have a big panel for the show. Coming up later, Elizabeth Ward joins us in studio. Then I'll be sitting down with IU soccer star Avery Lockwood. To finish, our panelists will play a game we like to call Do You Know Your Hoosiers? Thus, it's time to toss up Indiana soccer, and joining me on today's show is IUSTV Soccer beat reporters Emma Watson, Ta Lau. Also on the panel is IDS Soccer beat reporter Amanda Foster. Amanda, Ta, Emma, thanks for being here today.
Hello, thank you for having us.
Great to be here. Great to be back in.
Yep, yeah, definitely.
And three-person panel for the first time in God only knows how long, since really before COVID. So excited to get started. Let's jump right into it. Emma, I'll start with you. We'll talk about the women's team. What did you make of their preseason, or not preseason, but non-conference schedule so far?
I think they took it they came off of last season very hungry. They wanted to prove themselves. They missed out at the NCAA tournament, so they really want to bid this year. I believe that they got off to a good start in their season opener, and then they went on the road. A lot of the problems that come in with road games is that you really want to prepare yourself, and their non-conference road schedule this year was difficult. What I really liked that I saw from these non-conference games was how the freshmen really showed up and showed out. You see it a lot where freshmen don't really get a whole lot of minutes, especially in women's soccer, but instead a lot of the stars that we're talking about today and that are coming on to these panels and really starting up conversations are these freshmen. Jordan Levy, Sydney Macer, Kelly Monaco, Camille Ham, all of these freshmen are contributing to the team so well, and I think that is one of the biggest takeaways from this non-conference schedule is that we're seeing them grow into this game and shine bright right before we even hit Big Ten play.
Tom, man, anything to add on to that?
I think it's great to see that Irvin Van Bennekom's third season here at IU. Everything's starting to play out well, from the formation, from the style of play. It's the EVB era now. All the players are brought in, and definitely I think that there's a good future for the IU women's soccer team.
Yeah, and I would definitely say, just like Emma said a little bit ago, just the idea of having a home field advantage and being able to have a good fan base behind them now, obviously, that they can have fans back in the stands is something that's going to be really important for the team.
Yeah, not only that, they just have such good leaders, and they've been showing out. Avery Lockwood has done amazing. You'll see her a little later on in the show, as well as Olivia Vos and Anna Alling. They've all been playing phenomenal so far, and Jamie Gerstenberg. I mean, you can't forget about her, a freshman in the goal. We'll kind of move on. Emma, as we get into Big Ten play, what teams are you most excited to watch IU play against?
I was talking with Amanda a little bit. I'm kind of going with the wild card. The one that's coming up on Sunday, I'm really excited for. It's Michigan State. Last year, IU beat Michigan State at home 2-1. Michigan State now has a new coach, Coach Hostler. He came in from out of conference. He replaced Tom Saxton who was there for 30 seasons. He left last year. Now they're undefeated. Michigan State last year was one of the last teams in the Big Ten. Now they're undefeated, and they're coming into IU wanting to prove something. And I think it's a really good matchup, especially for your first road game for Michigan State, but first home Big Ten game for IU. It's a good statement. If you could win, it's a statement win.
Ta?
Look, I think that definitely both of those games, I mean, Michigan State as well, and then whenever there's another ranked opponent that they have to face, I think it's going to be a big game.
Amanda, anything to add?
I'm looking forward to the Penn State game. I know the history between the matchups between IU and Penn State has typically dominated, but we've seen IU's team in the non-conference play and how gritty they can be and how tough they can be. So I think that'll be an interesting one.
Yeah, and really quickly before I ask you, I'll stay with you for the next question. I'm going to say the Michigan game. I'm excited for that. That's the game that got canceled last season. Therefore, they didn't make the NCAA tournament, so I'm excited to see how hungry they are to play Michigan this year. Amanda, I'll stick with you. Last question on the women's team before we go over to the men's. What's your end of the season prediction? You think they're going to make the tournament? How big of a run do you see IU making?
I think they will make the tournament. I don't know if they're going to make it all the way because there are definitely some other teams that are real contenders as well. But I think they're going to put up a good fight throughout the season.
Mm-hmm. Top.
Oof. I think tournament for sure. Again, Irvin Van Bennekom, I was able to see his style of play for 3 years now. So ever since the first year, I've seen a development over time. And there's just a confidence in this side. There's a lot of eagerness for players to get out there, play to their peak performance, and the results are showing, like Emma said.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be a little bit of an oddball here. I think that they'll start off the Big Ten play pretty successfully. I think there are some games in the later on in their season that might get a little bit troubling, especially as the season comes to a close. I see them going far in the Big Ten tournament. I think they'll sneak in as a bubble team or maybe a 16th seed into the NCAA tournament. I don't see them going far in the NCAA tournament. This is a building block year, kind of like the past 2 years for the EVB era, as Ta put it. But it's an important year to really establish yourself as a program, and that's what's so exciting is that there's something that's brewing in Bloomington. I don't see them going far, but I do see them having successes this year.
Yeah, I think, again, you said it perfectly. It's a building block year. It's all about moving forward. The team is so young right now, where this season's essentially, okay, we keep learning, we keep putting in that system. But I expect, like you said, tournament, maybe 14 to 16 seeds, somewhere down there. They'll maybe match up against Florida State right away, but definitely make a run to maybe the semis in the Big Ten tournament. So let's move away from the women's team. Let's talk about the men's team. Ta, I know you're buzzing to talk about the men. What is your, what do you think? What are your thoughts so far on how the season's going?
Look, guys, first of all, it's great to be back again in the Beckley studio. Now, for Indiana men's soccer, if I have to describe the season so far, it's been an absolute roller coaster. 2 games to begin the season. The Hoosiers won both the in-state rival matchups against Notre Dame and Butler before dropping a match against Creighton at home. Yes, a non-ranked Creighton side, 3-0. Creighton won that one. And it was IU's first defeat at home during the regular season since 2015. So believe it or not, I'm sure the atmosphere in the locker room was not good after that one. Went to be able to beat Xavier in the next match before drawing against Akron, a ranked side. So overall, there's been consistently some defensive lapses, some communication errors, not marking players in the defensive half. So that's been the key issue so far for IU. But going forward, at least the Mac Herman Trophy runner-up, Victor Bezerra is back. So the front players are there, plethora of options to go and get the goals.
Yeah, Amanda?
Yeah, he said almost everything I want to add. Something that I have loved to see and I think is really impressive is the freshmen on the team, specifically Sam Sarver and Tommy Maholick. Maholick came out in his first game, in his first appearance, and had an amazing performance and won a significant amount of accolades in the next week. And Sam Sarver, in the more recent games, has been able to come through and kind of push against the opposing team's defense and make those runs down the field to give his team more of an opportunity to score, and obviously he has done so. And so I think going into the rest of the season, there are going to be 2 players to watch that are going to be able to contribute a lot to the team.
Yeah, Emma, anything else to add?
Kind of to add on a little bit what Ta said, I think there have been a lot of communication issues. You saw it, even though we won the Notre Dame game, and that's something to celebrate if you're a fan. As watching that game, there were a lot of things that I picked up that I saw in the NCAA tournament run, the College Cup run last year that carried over, which is concerning if you're a coach. Because there were lapses in defense, there were lapses in attacking, and you're starting to see that in games, especially big games. My worry is mainly with the defense going into Big Ten play. COVID year was last year, and now a lot of programs have not only gotten a lot of recruits, but now they're starting to build back or pick up where they left off. And IU, they're going to be chasing IU. So a strong defense, a communicative defense, and a communicative midfield is important. And so going forward, what I want to see is the team working together, because there's a lot of talent on this team, and they've kind of touched on that as well, especially with the freshmen. There's a lot of talent, but sometimes, in some instances, it just doesn't click. And I would like to see it, especially going into Big Ten play, this chance against Rutgers, to finally see it click into place.
Yeah, now, we'll get into that Big Ten play. What matchup are you most excited to see? I'll answer really quickly. Mine's going to be Indiana-Rutgers this Friday.
Ooh, that's a good one. Mine is Michigan. I think Michigan is always a kind of wild card. Either Michigan or Maryland, those two M teams. They are so diverse and dynamic with the way that they recruit, and the programs have just done a wonderful job. It is very clear in the preseason polls that IU is where they deserve to be, but I think really good contenders are Michigan and Maryland for that spot, and they're going to be looking for it, and they're going to be hungry.
Top?
2 games stands out the most for me. October 17th, away at University Park against Penn State. Penn State, a side that IU went all the way to penalty kicks against to win the Big Ten title last season. And the other one, October 31st. Will it be a happy Halloween for Indiana or not? Depends if they get that result away at College Park against Maryland. So Maryland, we all know, very talented. In the latest United Soccer Coaches poll, they were actually ranked in the top 10. So for me, I'm actually going to go out there and make a prediction that whoever wins that game on Halloween will win the Big Ten.
Mm-hmm. Amanda, what about you? What's your favorite matchup coming
I'm
up?
going to go off of yours and say Rutgers. Rutgers, historically against Indiana, I'm going back to the stats. Indiana has the advantage, but Rutgers is 5-1 in non-conference play this year, and so I think they definitely are going to be a contender, and they're going to push against Indiana this weekend.
Yeah. All right, really quickly, Amanda, I'll stick over with you. What is your rest of season prediction?
I think that the team is going to make it to the tournament. It makes me nervous seeing the results against Creighton, and like Emma was saying, I think things need to click, and they need to click more consistently for the team to really do anything in the tournament. But I think if they can keep playing the way that they've been playing when they're playing well, obviously they've had issues in the games that they play, but if they can keep up what they're doing well, then they definitely have a shot to at least get there and have a chance.
Mm-hmm. Top.
If the defense can fix itself, Joey Mayer, Daniel Muni can communicate better, man mark better, know when to drop, know when to communicate with the defensive midfielders. Roman Saltano is going to take care of everything in goal. So if those two can communicate with the rest of the team and hold their line, this team will definitely go deep in the NCAA tournament. Big Ten champs, I'm pretty sure it's going to be a guarantee. And then regular season champs, that's always the standard for Indiana. So again, it's all about the quest for 9, going that one extra game than they did last year.
Mm-hmm. Emma?
Again, it's really hard to base anything off of non-conference play, but it's really important to talk about what's happening. It's kind of like a preseason before the conference play starts. I see this team winning the Big Ten. I think right now the talent level, the depth is just kind of lopsided in Indiana's favor. I see them getting out in the round of 16. I think that they are a Clemson, and referencing last year, I think that their defensive lapses and their lack of creativity last year going into the NCAA tournament was not enough, and I don't think that it will be enough this year. I hope to be proven wrong, but right now I see them getting out pretty early in the NCAA tournament as an upset.
I'm going to make my prediction really quickly. Big Ten champs, and as well, they're going to get knocked out in the College Cup this year. So, someone likes that. Coming up after the break, we are going to be right back with Elizabeth Ward at the Wall and an interview, so stick around. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back. Now joining us over at the Wall is Elizabeth Ward to preview some of IU Soccer's seniors this year. Elizabeth, you're on the pitch.
Thanks, Evan. Let's take a look at the senior defenders as they have made huge impact this season. Both teams have been doing tremendously well as the women are 6-1 with a tie and the men are 3-1. Starting off the women, we have senior defender Olivia Vos from Olesno, Poland. Vos started in all 12 games last season and has been a key player this season as she assisted in a goal versus Murray State with a 4-0 victory. Next, senior defender Madeline Carlson aided in 4 shutouts and started in all 12 games last season. And continuing on to this season has helped with the shutout against Murray State as well. For the men, we have 2 key defenders that have been able to contribute offensively as well this season, Nick Sussek and Spencer Glass. A transfer from Pitt, defender Nick Sussek started in all 13 games last season and continuing on the streak as he started in 4 games this season and has multiple scoring chances. Number 21 defender Spencer Glass from Fort Wayne, Indiana, is a redshirt senior. Unfortunately, he suffered an injury last season at Michigan, but he's back as his first game was against Notre Dame, winning 3-2 in overtime. He also had an assist in the state rival Butler game with a 1-0 victory. That's it for our senior spotlights for men and women's soccer. Evan, back to you.
Thanks, Elizabeth. We are back on the toss-up with IU soccer star Avery Lockwood. Avery, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So just before we get into it, I got a couple questions to ask you. It's going to be fun, going to be lighthearted. So just have a good time with the questions, and our panelists are going to try to match your answers. So you ready?
Sweet. Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, first question. When did you first start playing soccer?
It was a while back, so I'd say around 4 or 5 years old.
4 or 5 years old.
Yeah.
Awesome. And so, we'll move away from that. What's your major here at IU? We kind of talked about it earlier.
Yeah, so I just switched it actually to environmental and sustainability studies.
Oh, nice. That's really cool.
Thanks.
Okay, next question. Which teammate has the best personality?
Oh, that's a tough one. I cannot just say one.
But if you had to pick one, though.
That's hard. Oh, everyone has their own really good things about them. Okay, I'm gonna say Allison Jordan.
Allison Jordan. All right. Next, we'll move on. Before your games, I'm assuming you play one song. What's that one song to get you hyped before the game?
Ooh, so as a team, we like to listen to Firework by Katy Perry.
Mm-hmm.
It's a pretty good hype song, I must say.
I mean that California Girls also could get you hyped. If you're gonna go Katy Perry, but Firework is a good song.
I agree.
Now, next question. If you had 2 teammates to be stranded on a deserted island with, who would they be?
Oh, okay. I'm going to say Elena Kalin and Olivia Voss. I'm going to say those 2.
Any reason why?
They're my roommates, so I think I'd get along really well with them. I'd pick Allison too, but you said only 2 because they're all 3 my roommates.
Yeah.
So.
All right. So I'll ask you more of a Bloomington-based question. What is your favorite restaurant in town?
Okay. I think I'd have to say Upland Brewing Company because I can always bring my dog there.
Yeah. What kind of dog do you have? Any?
Labradoodle.
Oh.
His name's Norman.
Bonus question. All right, the last question I have for you. If you had to describe your IU career so far in one word, what would it be?
I'll say, that's a tough question. I'm blanking on words right now, too. I guess a journey, I guess is what I'd say.
A journey.
Yeah, a lot of ups and downs, but.
I love that answer. Avery, thank you so much for joining the show. That's going to do it. Stick around. We'll be right back after this. We are back with Emma Watson, Ta Lau, and Amanda Foster, and it's time to play Do You Know Your Hoosiers? Now, those at home just watched the interview with Avery Lockwood, but our panelists will now have contestants, actually, will have the chance to ask the same questions I asked Avery. If you get the answer right that match Avery's answer, you get a point. Amanda, you're very familiar with this game. That I know you lost to Justin Berger over in the volleyball side, but are you guys ready to play Do You Know Your Hoosier?
Let's go.
Absolutely.
Emma, no. Amanda, we'll start with you. How old was Avery when she first started playing soccer?
I'm going to go with 9.
9. Ta?
7.
7 and?
5.
5. Emma was the only one to get that right. The answer was, she said 4 to 5, so I'd accept both. Emma, you get 1 point there. Second question. Emma, we'll start with you. What is Avery's major at IU?
Oh no. I want to say, I'm going to go safe. I'm going to go Kelly School of Business.
Kelly School of
I'm going to go
Business.
safe.
Management, just Kelly School of Business. Ta, what about you? What do you think her major is?
I'm going to go informatics.
Informatics, and Amanda?
Biology?
The answer was, that was close. The answer was environmental and sustainability studies. That's what Avery studies here at IU. Next question. What teammate does Avery think has the best personality in the team? Ta, we'll start with you.
Go Sophia Black.
Sophia Black.
Jordan Levy.
Jordan Levy and
Camille Ham.
Camille Ham. The correct answer was Allison Jordan. So after 3 questions, Emma still leads 1. Tal, you have none, and Amanda, you have none. 4th question. What is Avery's pre-game pump-up song? Emma, we'll start with you.
Oh my God. What? I'm gonna go something from Kanye, something from like Flo Rida, Pitbull maybe. I don't know. Avery.
Some Kanye song, Ta.
Oof, I'm gonna go some Drake song. There, have that. Some Drake song. Yeah.
Some Drake song. Amanda.
I was gonna go with Kanye too. I'm gonna piggyback off Emma.
So I was thinking the same thing when I was sitting down with her. The correct answer she gave me is Firework by Katy Perry.
Whoa!
Firework by Katy Perry.
That is a
the
good
answer.
one.
Oh,
You know
we'll move
what?
on.
That's valid.
Next question I asked Avery was if she was stranded on a deserted island with 2 of her teammates, who would they be? Amanda, we'll start with you.
Oh no. I'll go with Camille Ham. I'll go with Jordan Levy again.
Okay, Camille Ham and Jordan Levy.
Oof. Sophia Black.
Sophia Black again.
Oof. Jordan Levy.
Jordan Levy.
Ooh, I'm gonna go Hannah Nemeth and Allison Jordan.
So the correct answer was Olivia Vos and Elena Kalin.
No.
So Sophia Black, Jordan Levy were not right.
We don't know her at
Those
all.
were 2 of her. The third one she did say was Allison Jordan. So it would have been right if we were accepting 3, but we're only
Darn.
accepting 2.
Too bad.
Next
It's
question,
fine.
our 6th question. Emma, I'll start with you on this one. What is Avery's favorite restaurant in Bloomington?
Mother Bears.
Mother Bears. That's a very quick answer. Tom.
I'm gonna go with my own one, which is Buffalo's.
Buffalo Louie's. Always a good answer.
Mother
Amanda?
Bears.
Mother Bears?
Yep.
Avery's answer was Upland Brewing because she could bring her dog.
Oh.
Oh,
So,
sick. Well,
After 6 questions, we have 1 left. Emma leads 1-0. Rough night for our panelists. Last question. If Avery could describe her IU career in 1 word, what would it be? Amanda, we'll start with you.
Throwing.
Throwing,
Lit.
lit, and
fulfilling.
fulfilling. The correct answer was a journey.
That's 2 words.
Well, okay. It is 2 words. But journey, a journey, it's all the same. Ta, Emma, Amanda, thank you so much for being on the panel tonight. We had such a great show. That's going to do it for this week. Special thanks to Jeremy Rosenthal and IU women's soccer star Avery Lockwood. Be sure to continue the discussion and follow us on Instagram at IUSTV Sports and on Twitter at IUSTV Sports for live updates and more from our beat reporters. We are always looking for ways to improve the show, so feel free to give any suggestions and ask any questions you might have via social media. And a deal is a deal. My Uncle David, you're right, Iowa is a better football team than Indiana. With that, there's only one thing left to do, so toss it up, find out if we'll catch it, and we'll see you next week.